Don't you just love families? I have an amazing family. My parents were wonderful people. I did well in choosing them this lifetime. My father taught me a lot. My mother taught me a lot. I actually stayed with my mother for several years, through 2 or 3 years before she passed, to help take care of her. And I just learned so much about my family and my history and my ancestors and all of that. And, you know, I've talked about my brother several times on weekly messages and in channeling and things like that. But I have one brother that lives in Texas that actually went to school for a time to become I think, an Assemblies of God minister. Um, so his beliefs are just a little different than mine. Then I have one brother that is an AA counselor, and we see eye to eye on a lot of things, and we're discovering this in the past few years that I've been traveling because he lives out in California. So when I go out in the past, when I've gone out to California, I've gone an extra day or stayed an extra day and spent the night with he and his wife, and just really gotten to know him as an adult. My little brother, um, he I kind of was his babysitter when he was growing up, and bless his heart, he survived that. I think of some of the things that in my own childishness I did, not knowing what I was doing. I think I'm glad we both survived it. I remember one time he bit my toe, and I didn't think he was going to let go till it thundered. I mean, it was like, yeah. However, I also remember one time when I was clipping his fingernails and I clipped them a little too close. Anyway, he is actually a Jehovah Witness. And I have a new respect for Jehovah Witnesses. I spent a week out there last year or the year before, I guess it was the year before, with my mother's estate, um, and I learned a lot about them. And my sister-in-law, they don't believe in that it's possible. This is my interpretation. So if you're a Jehovah Witness out there and you're listening to this, and you know, feel free to email me and correct me privately, I would hope. But my interpretation is that they don't really believe that you can heal yourself, or healing energy is not like Reiki or something like that, is not within their belief system. And so I thought, okay, so now I've got two brothers that we disagree on. And but then I just stopped, and I thought, I love my brothers right where they are. I love them for their beliefs and their conviction for what they believe in. And I love them, and I can't change who I am, and they can't change who they are. I mean, I can change who I am because I can learn to love them instead of criticize them, or heaven forbid, try to convince them of something that I believe in. But I find that as I just live my life and live my joy and live that space in time that we created together as children growing up, that that my brothers are kind of coming round. My well, or at least my sisters-in-laws are. Maybe my brothers don't ask any questions, but my sisters-in-laws do. And my sister-in-law, who is the Jehovah Witness, we had a great talk a couple of years ago. I actually did a weekly message on it then. But what she has done is she's continued to connect with me in the space that I am in, and I continue to connect with her in the space that she is in. She actually gave me this book that she found at a yard sale or something, Secrets of Self-Healing, which again is not something that I think that Jehovah Witnesses actually believe in. And I honor them. I was talking with Randy the other day, Randy Luna, who's our composer, and um, he does soul sound activations. He has 52 of them up available on our website. But I saw in his car that he had a watchtower, and I'm like, why do you have a watchtower in your car? And he says, oh, the Jehovah Witnesses used to come by and talk to his wife, Karen, and she would invite them in and talk to them. And it was just, uh, they didn't try to convince her of anything, and she didn't try to convince them of anything because she was pretty much probably an agnostic. I don't know. But um, they were so nice and they got along so well that Randy has actually continued that relationship with him. And because of COVID, they don't come around and visit any longer. They mail him stuff. And he keeps it and reads it over. And I thought, that's really the deal, isn't it? Our families are who they are. We cannot change them. We can only learn to grow within ourselves, to see in our hearts the infinite love that we can surround them with. When I was doing private sessions, I would hear all kinds of horror stories about brothers and sisters and families and all of that they were doing this and that and this. Well, keep in mind that every single time you say, they are doing this and it makes me feel this way, you are actually placing yourself back in that state of being a victim. Why not just be who you are? Don't try to convince anybody of anything. And love your family right where they are. And see the good that is within them. And when you do, you just might be surprised. I started seeing the good in my brothers, even though we have vast differences of opinions about life. And we have wonderful discussions, not arguments, discussions. And my brothers have helped me see and expand my views on things. And I believe I've helped them see and expand their views on things. It truly is a gift to experience your families and experience them as they are, not as you want them to be, because that doesn't really work. So I guess for this week, just think of your families and maybe your parents, maybe they've passed on, but think of all the good things that they ever did for you and be grateful for that. And if you have brothers and sisters that are still alive, or maybe some of them have passed on, think of all of the good things that they did for you, with you. I mean, I know sometimes it's difficult to search out those good things in some families because not everyone chose the family that I did. But keep in mind, you still chose them. So it may be what you learned from them, or the good times, good things that you learned, was forgiveness, or how to not judge them. Maybe that's what they're teaching you, is to forgive them and love them where they are and go on with your life. Your life is not dependent necessarily upon your family, but they can be like icing on the cake if you allow that. They can be a bonus and a benefit if you allow that. So just think about that. Think of them as icing. And if you're diabetic or you don't like icing or something like that, then think of another metaphor that works for you. I love icing myself, and that's my brother's. My sister passed away, but in thinking of this weekly message, I thought it made me cry because I thought of all the good things, even though she used to complain and she was bigger than me and blah, 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 all those kinds of things. I thought of all the good things that we had together. Oop, I'm going to cry again. Ah, enjoy your family. They certainly can be icing on the cake. Namaste, y'all. Namaste.